Most of the names on this wall are people that are just going to work. It was very nice for them to include my dad on the wall with the other first responders, but Dad was just going to work that day. My father, Charles Mills, was a retired New York City Transit chief of police. He retired in the 90s. He was commissioner of Schenectady, and then he was commissioner of Troy. After his tenure upstate, he got the job with Petroleum, Alcohol, and Tobacco Agency for taxation. His office was on the 87th floor of the South Tower. The morning of 9/11, it was right as I was getting to college, and I got back home and I turned the TV on and I saw the first tower in smokes. I called up my mother, who was at the hospital. She was an ER nurse. I said, "Mom, like a plane hit the Trade Center." And she said, "I know, John. Your dad called me and he's all right. They're exiting the building now." And I hung up the phone with my mother, and minutes after I hung up the phone with my mother, I just sat there, watched the TV. I saw the second plane hit, and I called my mother back. I said, "Mom, a plane hit the towers." She said, "I know, John, I know." I'm like, "No, Mom, a second plane hit." And that was it. When my dad talked to my mom after the first plane hit, he knew that it was a terrorist attack, and he told her that he was clearing his floor and they were getting out of the building. The last somebody saw my father, I think, was in the stairwell, probably right around where the second plane hit. I think Dad stayed behind because he had that ingrained in him to help others. He would have got out right after the first plane hit, maybe still with my family, but that wasn't my dad. I took the FDNY test right after 9/11. Luckily, they called me a few years later, and I got onto the FDNY in 2006. Being a firefighter in New York City, the more I do it, the more I'm grateful for having this job. I enjoy helping people, but after Dad was killed, I think it was something that definitely pushed me more in that direction. Even the days following 9/11, when I had nothing but hope that my dad was going to walk out of the rubble, seeing some of the first responders work on that pile just kind of touched home a little more, and it was something that I felt more passionate about. When I walked into the firehouse the first day, my quote-unquote brothers in the service, they all lost somebody. They all had a very personal connection to what had happened that day, as obviously I did as well, and it was comforting, especially getting onto the fire department, to have that camaraderie and that that shoulder to lean on. So a few years ago, me and my friend Chris were fortunate enough to be invited out to New Zealand. They held this memorial stair climb in honor of the guys that they had lost in the past. We were flabbergasted that there actually wasn't already a first responders climb here in New York. So when we came back, we started trying to get it going. We were able to join the Association of Memorial Stair Climbs, which there's a number of climbs throughout the states that are a part of this association, and their job is just to make sure that these climbs take place, because they do recognize the importance of these events. Everybody gets a little timing chip in their bib, which also actually helps us in keeping track of climbers in the stairwell. This year was 100 degrees. Everybody's standing at the base of 3 World Trade Center in their full gear, waiting to get an oxygen pack. Once they get their pack, they go to the start and they get swiped. And once you get swiped, your time starts. You go to the top, to the 80th floor. As you're going up, even though you are in quite a bit of pain, the stairwell is lined with the photos of those first responders that were killed that day. It gives you a little more push when you do want to stop. At 60, I wanted to stop, and looking at some of those faces brings it home a lot more that they're not here. that's people. They tend to forget, and you hear the phrase "never forget, always remember" all the time. You see it on bumper stickers, but people need a reminder. Yeah, just being able to bring something back to somebody that has no memory, whether it be climbing a stairwell lined with the photos of those guys that were killed that day, or going to the museum and memorial. Something that brings it back to home is important, I think.